Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Happy Friday. Today I'm going to do something I haven't done for a while. As a matter of fact, there's 3 builds that I haven't done for a while. So we're going to revisit some of them. We're going to be working on the next 5 stages of the Fanhome release and build the Star Wars Millennium Falcon. So we're going to be doing stages 22 to 26, and I believe we're going to be working more on the top hull section of the ship. Now, if you remember in the last video, we had to do some painting. Now, I did some of that for the recess area, which looks just like that. And let me just show you on the close-up camera how that looks. Now, if you want to know how I done this, then fear nothing, because I actually did it on the members channel, but I have made that video now available so you can watch that. So there is a link to that video at the end of this video in my little pop-up box after the Patreon credits and the YouTube channel credits. There's also a link in the video description. You can watch that full hour where I airbrush this and I dry brush this and show you what to do, so you can do that for yourself should you want to. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, I have put a link in the video description there. There's also a QR code on the screen. I know I've built this model before, but I can't remember what we're doing this time, so we're going to learn that together. Without further ado, let's get cracking. So in stage 22, each stage comes with a magazine. Here's the magazine looking like this, and we're going to be we've got some parts on a sprue here. Forgot we're going to have a lot of sprue parts, and we've got a bit of detail for the whole frame. We're going to be cutting these parts off, and we're going to be continuing this central corridor that we were working on last time. So here is stage 22, and all the sprues are attached in this one, and there's that bit of frame. So if I have this way round on the top camera, these are all numbered 1, 4, 5, 8, 2, 3, 6 and 7. We are going to be laying these out just on the mat into a number order, so it's basically going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to do that now. So by laying them out, that's what we have left on the sprue. But I'm interested in this area here. Just going to make sure that any burrs on the side are actually just sanded down. The way I've laid this out here, all of this is going to be going on the wall on this side here, laid out exactly like you can see there. So I do need my glue. And it's just a case, if I just start this off to give you an idea of what I'm doing, it's just putting some glue. I'll do this end first into these channels here, and also just at the top. Take one piece here and push that in, and then take the top piece, and this shares half and half, so that will go on there like that, and then that gives you an idea of how that's going to look. I'm going to repeat that design I've got here, put it on there. It is actually quite a quick thing to do, because I'm only putting glue in the channels there. It's just a case of making sure that's seated properly there, and this one's seated properly on the top there. It's flat on that wall, and then we just got the last one here. Handy having a brush on glue, because it can get in that channel between these frames here, or bulkheads. Get that in, then just put the top piece in. Oh, this one's probably going to be a bit more fiddly, but it's in, and that's what it looks like when they're all in place. Now, believe it or not, the frame piece we don't actually use, because that is all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 23, here's the magazine. Let's have a flick through, looking like this. And we're going to be doing, we're going to be using what we had left on that other sprue there. We do have some frame pieces here. We've also got some parts of the jig for when we're actually going to be lying the top of the saucer section here. Saucer section, can we call that a saucer section? I'm not sure. And we do have a bit of corridor here as well. So we are going to start laying this one out so it's looking just like that. We are going to have a lot of things, especially for the frame, left over by the look of it. At the end, it's going to look just like that. Now, these bags do get big when you look at how big these jig pieces are here, but I'm just going to put that to one side. And this time, the frame pieces, the little foam feet for the jig, I'm not going to open, and even the connectors, because we're not actually going to be using them at the moment. I think we may be using these little brass screws actually. But what I do need to do is bring over what we've just been creating off that sprue. I'm going to be cutting the last ones off the sprue. So just so you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Lay these out how they're going to go. And now that's an empty sprue. I can throw that away. Again, just clean up the edges. It's pretty similar to what we done last time, except we're not putting these top bits in yet. So I'm just going to put some glue just in the first 2 channels there. And one goes in here, just like that. Second one along goes in there. And then I'll just put some glue in the last 2 channels here. Brush on glue definitely makes it easier to apply without putting blobs of glue everywhere. One in here, and then finally the last one here. Sticks really quickly as well, as you can see. Now the reason we haven't put anything on these top ones is because we've already got those top ones on this side. Remember when we put these in? So let's just do a dry fit to show you how this is going to go. This is going to go over the top just like this here. And you can see the corridor now. That's how that's going to look when it's fully implemented. What I need to do though is I'm going to need to put some glue just onto these edges here. I also need to make sure that these lugs at the top of the corridors are going to go into these holes here. So again, I'm just going to check that dry fit to ensure that they're all lined up into place. 1, 2, 3, that looks good. That seam is good. Everything looks good. And it's actually going to be held in by this ring here, which just goes on the end. We're not going to need to glue anything else in there because there's this ring that's actually holding everything into place. That's looking pretty cool, isn't it? We can do a test fit on this other bit of the corridor that we got here though. As you can see, we do have some lugs at the bottom there, which are just going to go onto this section, and eventually that top section is going to go on there as well. So on the top camera, that gives you an idea of how that's going to look. Now, they don't actually want us to put this together at the moment. I'm guessing that's what these brass screws are for, so we do need to just keep those safe for now, but that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 24, here's the magazine. Abu Akbar. And we're going to be now working on the frame piece. I need to make sure that I've zoomed all my cameras out for this. We've got quite a lot of frame pieces that we've had over the last few stages here. So I am now going to start putting all of these together. So by the end of it, it's looking like this. Now, we've got the fitting the hole plates. I don't know if we're actually putting these in yet. It's just showing where they go. They haven't asked me to screw any hole plates in at the moment. Yep, I've had a confirmation of that. They're just test fitting them at the moment, so they're not actually going fully in at the moment. But we can have a look at that when we've got the frame. Let me bring the frame up. So in stage 24, as you can see here, we've got another whole piece here, but we do have some more frame. Now I have zoomed out all my cameras. This is the frame. It's upside down so I can see all the numbers at the moment. We're going to be starting on this edge just here. And what I want to do is take this frame here, which is labelled BF22, and it's just going to go next to BF19 into that position there. So to do that, I've got these 2 connectors made out of metal and some black screws. And I'm going to get these into place. So it's 2 black screws on each connector. So they're in tight, and there we go. That's that one in. And then I'm just going to gently rotate it round. Just like this, because I'm now going to be putting the next part in, which is this part here, which is labelled BF23. That's going to be going onto this top section just there. But to fit it, we're going to be having a 2 connector in this position, but a 4 connector in this position here. So I do have them ready. I'll put the 2 connector in first, and then the 4 connector. And then I'm now in a position to secure that in with 2 more screws on this side here. Now I know people are going to be asking, Wayne, why aren't you using oil to put these in? I don't really have to on this. The threads are so well cut that the screws go in no problems at all, as you can see there. Now this next piece here, which is labelled BF26, this is going to go into this section just here, like this. So we're going to be securing it with 2 screws just here, and I'm going to need a 2 connector to go in there. So as you can see, that's now connected through this point here and this point here. Now the section we just created, I'm going to be adding some connectors. So I need a 4 connector at the top. I need another 4 connector just at that point there, and then a 2 connector at that point there. Let me screw those in. And I know we're zoomed out quite far, but hopefully you can see all of those are in place. Now BF24, which is this piece, is going to be going in this way, just into the 2 holes there. So I'm going to secure that into place. Large piece now, BF27, that's going to be going next to it, onto these bits here. Now once I put this one in, I'm guessing we're going to need a 4 block connector to go into here. I don't think I've got any, so I don't know if that's coming in a future pack. We'll check that in a second. A whole bag of connectors still here, so I need some of these single connectors now. I do have a 4 one, look, check that out. Now I need to put 2 single connectors in, one in here, just into this point in the middle. I'm calling them single connectors, but obviously there's 2 holes in them. And one just in this point here. And the reason for doing that is because I now need frame BF28. That's going to be connecting into this point just here. So I'm going to get that into place. 3 screws this time. So we've got one just in this corner. And then the others just here. I'm keeping to turn this around. I'm going to run out of space soon. I need to put a 4 block connector just into this point here. We knew that was coming. And then just a single connector or 2 hole connector just at the bottom here. Because then I'm going to be taking this piece here, which is BF20, well, what is that, 5? I think it's 25. That's going to be just fitting underneath here like that. Now I'm just going to put this whole frame to the floor for a second. This is how big it is at the moment, just to give you an idea of that. And the reason for doing that, I've just zoomed up one of the cameras because I need to put these 2 parts together. These go together just like this, and it does have this connector block over the top, like that. And then I've got the brass screws here, which are just going to be going through. Now, I'm putting them through the same side, so I'm going to be putting them in this side here. So, just get these all in. Bring up the frame again, and then this time this is going to be into place just here like this. So just screw this in with the black screws. And what that means is I've now got room for the last frame to go in that we've got, which is just going to go at the bottom here into these points just there. So I'm going to screw these with 2 screws here. There you go, that's the last screw in. Now if you remember on the back page, it's showing us where the plates are going to go in, but I'm not going to do that because I'm going to dedicate one whole stage to that, I'm guessing, when we put that in. Don't know if that's going to be in this one. I'm sure it is because we are getting on with that, aren't we? But that's the end of that stage. Now before I finish, do you remember this section that we had here? I've got a detail that's actually just going to be going into the holes here. Now this was on a sprue. It looks like this. I think this came in stage 19. We now need to put this in. Just going to put a little bit of glue on this, just onto the one point there to get that in. Because when they were test fitting the plates, they were putting this on now. Now I would have missed that if I hadn't tested the plates. So I'll put them in just like that. And that's all there is to do in that stage. The birds outside the workshop are going crazy. Can you hear that? I don't know if you can, but there's birds at the workshop going absolutely crazy. Okay, this is stage 25. This is the penultimate stage of this pack. Looking like this. And we do have a lot more details, another bit of jig to put on here and some more frame parts. So we are now going to be creating, by the look of it, another doorway here. So it's going to look just like that. We've got another jig part here, which I'm going to put to one side. Just so I don't lose them, we do have these little foam sections, which are going to aid to keep our model protective when we've got this upside down in here. So before I put this on the floor, I will just put these foam supports into place. I can keep the frame piece and the screws and the plate safe because it's only these parts that I'm going to be working on. Now, just looking at these, they look exactly the same. They're both labelled the same, but believe me, they're not. They're not the same at all. It's weird. They're both labelled issue 25, so you expect them to be the same, but no, they're not. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start cutting these off to try and figure out which one's what. By the look of it, let me have a look. This one here is the frame I want first. Number 1 starts here. So it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now if I just move that over and bring these two parts over here, they look like this. Now this is the smaller version of this. You see we've got a long one and a short one. This is where these are going to go. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's do this. And there we go, that's another wall done. And I'm pretty much going to repeat that on these ones here. And there you go. They are now all done, as you can see there. Now, we do have this part left over as well, which I'm going to keep safe, but that's the end of that stage. So in the last stage of this pack, stage 26, here's the magazine, looking like this. And by the look of it, we've got some frame pieces in here, but we're going to take what we've created and the corridor and just start piecing this together. So we've got this really tiny recess corridor looking like that. Should be a quick stage, this one. So once again, just looking at the parts, I'm just going to take the sponge bits off the packet here and just attach these to the jig. One there and one there. We will be piecing the jig together later on. Again, we've got more screws, more frame and connectors, and another bit of panel there, which we're not going to need. All we're going to need in this stage is just these parts here that we created in the last stage, and these bits of corridor here. All we're going to do then is take the panels that we've got, and these are like dovetail joints. So what I'm going to do is just push these in to where they go. Now I'm doing a dry fit at the moment, so we've got one going in here. I've got this one here going next to it on this side. Pushing that down, and as you can see, it makes a corridor there. To be honest with you, it doesn't really need glue at the moment. It does hold itself. I'm sure when we actually get the top on, it's going to completely hold itself. Just do the same on the other side. So that piece in there, then finally this piece going into this side. So now we have a corridor going on here. Now, they haven't asked me to glue anything at the moment, so I probably will be gluing this. I want this way round, as you can see there, with this edge here, where the curved door is. This is going to lock in the top sections here. And I am going to try and experiment in a second. And then that's locked that into place. So we do have a corridor. Everything's fitting nice and flush in there. I mean, make sure it's all flush around every side. I think that looks really good, actually. Looking like that. Now, theoretically, this is ABS. We do have these corridor ramps here we're not doing anything with. They're going to keep that safe. But theoretically, if I use some of this Tamiya fine cement to go into the grooves here, just of the dovetails to stop them coming out, and that should hold that in. Now the capillary action pulls them into those joints. But as I said, it is ABS, so there's no reason why that shouldn't work. I could do the same on the other side. It's a very quick process with this glue because it evaporates pretty much on touch. About 10 seconds it takes to evaporate. Now this is the extra thin stuff, this one. Perfect. Whether that holds or not, I don't know, but that is all there is to do in that stage, and that's all there is to do in that pack. You know what I love about this build is that there's just so much to do in each stage. Now, there's only 100 stages in this build, so it's no wonder we've got so much to do. But I do have another 2 packs of this here, so they will be on the channel soon. As for the other ones that you haven't seen for a while from Fanhome, and that is namely the Back to the Future DeLorean and the Star Trek Enterprise D, I have about 3 or 4 packs of those to do as well. I know I've fallen behind on them, but I will make sure they get on the channel soon. Now, once again, if you want to get this for yourself and it is still available, I don't know, you need to check. There's a link in the video description. There's also a QR code on the screen. Also, remember to check out the video at the end or in the video description if you're interested in knowing how I painted the recess area. Anyway, I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.